Welcome back to another episode of Hot from the Oven. This is my good friend Penny. This is me, Ryan, and we are filming about...
Pain is weakness leaving the body.
Or is it?
Is it? What do you think?
I think that's mostly untrue, but sometimes it's a little bit true.
Yeah, it's a little bit true while it's also nonsense.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think we should clarify first what is pain, because pain is a confusing thing. You know, we would like to think that we have a very simple, you feel pain, it goes straight to the brain and you perceive it exactly how it is, but it's not so simple, right?
It's a hard concept to communicate, I think, but I'm about to try in 1 minute. So many sensations within the body travel along a path, it's processed by a system called the nociceptive system. Now, in certain contexts, these signals can be interpreted as pain. So for example, if I scratch my skin, if I've got an itch, I scratch my skin.
Not that painful.
Feels almost nice, right? But that is carried by the same group of nerves that would register being cut, for example. So my understanding of what's going on determines how I feel about it.
Yeah.
And I think we can probably apply that same thing to this kind of topic today.
There was this really cool study that you can see online, which is when they prime people with like a feather on a fake hand, and they can see their hand, but they look at the fake hand thinking it's also their hand. Both their hand and the fake hands gets brushed by a feather, and then one of them gets hit by a mallet, and then they put, I think it's ice, if I remember correctly, on the area, which pain, if I remember correctly, lateral spinothalamic is pain and temperature, right?
Correct.
So thank you. So they had this feeling which was going along the same track as temperature, but they experienced it as agonizing pain. Whereas when they sat there and they just saw the ice cube go down, they're like, well, that's just cold. So this is a perfect example of how the brain can misinterpret information, even though it's being carried along the same track.
Revolutionary. So what does that mean then in the context of, say, like someone's day-to-day life? So imagine the feeling you get when you're biking up a hill. That feeling in your legs, you're like, I'm working really hard going up the hill. Imagine you felt that in the middle of the night, completely out of context, right? One thing is like a satisfying sensation, it's discomfort, but it makes sense, right? It's what you're looking for from that. But in the middle of the night, alarm bells ringing, probably something serious is happening. The problem is, though, for some people, I think if they are going into the situation without understanding what it should feel like, it's hard to then interpret it. So some people, if they have that kind of hell for leather? Yeah, is that
run
the way?
with it.
Hell for leather attitude about their body, about exercise. No amount of discomfort is going to register as wrong. Listen to it. So the like alarm system is just being ignored. It's like the fire alarm's going off all day and no one's paying any attention. But similarly, if you've never been uncomfortable before and you do a 5 kilogram bicep curl, so whatever sensation you're feeling may be unpleasant because it's got no context.
This is a really good one for fatigue in the lower back. We come across this all the time, where people feel that same fatigue in their bicep and they're like, that's okay, this is what I'm doing. But as soon as they start loading up, maybe on a deadlift or maybe on a back extension, and they're like, oh, I'm feeling something there, and it's like, is it fatigue? And they're like, oh, maybe, I guess it's okay. So that's one that often people need to get through, that context-dependent fatigue.
But if someone has lower back pain and every time they feel their back, they're like, oh no, my back pain, then we can give them an exercise that loads the lower back. That can help to kind of re-educate the nervous system that, actually sensations there can be good. So it's the same feeling of tension, of pressure, even of sort of muscle fatigue. It comes through to the brain as something we want.
Yeah, definitely. And this feels like another rabbit hole with chronic pain, which we'll probably do another one at some point.
How much memory do we have on the camera?
Another one that I wanted to chat about is when we often think about, okay, it's good pain or bad pain. And it's usually in sessions, in like either sessions in here with a qualified practitioner, or maybe they're going to some interesting, massage joint, down the way, and they're like, we're not sure if that pain should be felt or shouldn't be felt. So how do we know if painful treatment is a good thing or a bad thing? Can you guide us, old guru?
I mean, the first thing that jumps to mind is like, who's doing it, right?
Do they have a degree?
Do they have a degree? Do they understand the difference between sort of damaged tissue and a sore tissue? Do they understand the healing process within the body? Are they able to then dose that discomfort appropriately? Or are they interpreting your squirming face as like, oh, cool, go harder.
Yeah, yeah. Which is, I don't know why it's a thing here. It's like pain is good, go harder, go harder, go harder. And like we also have these things, you know, endogenous opioids, which the body creates, like natural painkillers that our body creates if we're in pain. It's like, oh, a tiger's on my foot. Oh no, I'm in pain. Like crumble. Oh. Or let me get away. So you get these things released into your nervous system, and then suddenly you think like, oh, I feel better. Like I can walk out. It's a little bit better. But then
it's funny you said tiger. Tiger balm, that's essentially how it's working.
So
some of the chemicals in tiger balm, they're triggering high threshold temperature sensors in the skin. So it's essentially telling your skin that it's kind of burnt, but you know it's not burnt.
Is pain weakness leaving the body?
We've kind of explained why it might be, might not be, but let's come up with some kind of concrete rules.
Yeah, what are the take homes that people can have?
Yeah.
I've got one. I think the one that people often ask me about is about treatment. It's about if they're going for a massage, whether it be, you know, a nice quality one, a back street one, or massage used as a modality within a session here at Calibrate. Should we be in pain when the person's treating us? And I think that if one golden rule is, if the person's qualified and they give a good rationale of why they're doing it, it's going to be a little bit of pain here, but because X, Y, and Z, oh, this person has a degree, they know what they're talking about. Golden.
Do you trust them?
I hope so. I hope so. Number 2 would be, is it a area which afterwards is then in more pain and then the next few days it's worse? If so, then stop. Just stop. So the third one would be, does it feel good, and afterwards do you feel like you're seeing improvements? That's sort of linked with the last one, but you get what I mean. So what about exercise? I think that's the other time where people get confused.
Absolutely. Golden rule for me is, does it hurt more the more you do it? Does it hurt a little bit and then kind of settle down? That's like a very good rule of knowing when you should feel something or not. Particularly, I'll be wary of joint pain. So you're feeling like at the joint, is normally more of a cause of concern than just the muscles are burning, you're feeling a bit achy. These are the big 2 golden rules for me.
If it's in the muscle, it's not in the joint, and if it gets a little bit better as you go, and if it's not like sharp severity, there you go.
I nearly got there. Like if you think about number on a scale of 0 to 10, if it's in the bottom section, like 1, 2, 3, more likely to be okay to tolerate, especially if it's getting towards the top of that scale, like
cut it out.
And if you're not sure, so if you find that actually everything kind of hurts when you exercise, that's definitely a reason to work with a professional, because our job is to show people what is normal, what isn't normal, and help you kind of navigate your way.
Wait, are we professionals?
I think
so.
Why are we here?
There you go, that's us. That is hot from the oven. Pain leaving the body is weakness, or is it? Something like that. And have a great day.
Bye.